My father, who's, as I mentioned, he's still 88 today, kicking. He still drives. He works out. He lifts weights. He's on the treadmill all the time and never minces words. He said, Bobby, you've made some stupid decisions in your life. This is back when we invested in Hand and Stone. He said, this by far is the dumbest. He said, you're investing in a luxury business at the end of a recession. He said, what are you thinking? Well, it ended up being the best financial decision we've ever made.
Hello, and welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. We publish episodes twice a week about franchising and business. Each Monday, we'll release a 30-minute episode where we dive deep into a topic. Thursdays are our shorter, lighter episodes where we will discuss things like business resources or topics of personal growth. I am one of your hosts, Pete Gilfillan, and I'm joined with my business partner, Nat Truitt. And together we have every experience in business and franchise ownership. We have worked hard over the years to realize our dreams and control our own destinies. Our experience will help you become a better business owner and franchisee so that you can live life on your own terms. Well, Nat, we've got an exciting guest with us today on our podcast. I want to introduce Bob McQuillan. Bob McQuillan is the Vice President of Franchise Development for Hand and Stone, and I will call it a friend. And I know you've worked with Bob before, correct?
Yes, I love working with Bob. He's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, Bob, it's so great to have you with us today. I know we got you up early on a Friday morning here, and I know you've got a great story to tell us because I think you're the only person I've talked to that has actually been in an emergency room this week that didn't have to deal with COVID-19. So, Bob, welcome to the podcast.
Pete and Nat, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Great to be here. Yes, I was in the emergency room yesterday with my wife. She had broken a couple toes, just a clumsy experience by walking into a couch by mistake and in the dark at 4:30 in the morning. So it was that actually I wasn't really allowed in. I mean, I walked in, showed my face. They said, quickly, get out. It's only for patients. I couldn't wait in the waiting room, but that's over. Thank God.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's great having you here, Bob. I think one of the things that I think about when you told me about your experiences, now you're a former college athlete. Is that correct?
Yeah, I played football and I actually I was on the boxing team as well. So, if I forget a name here or there, it's because I've been hit in the head quite a bit, Pete.
All right. Yeah, I had you for a football player. Boxing, that one catches me off guard. So
yeah, it caught me off guard too.
Yeah. So where'd you go to college?
The Westchester University of Pennsylvania.
The Westchester.
Division II school, Golden Rams. Go Rams.
Right. Golden Rams. Quite a mascot there. Absolutely. Right. And what'd you study?
I studied marketing and speech communications.
Okay. What'd you do when you got out of college? What was your first job?
Oh my God. It's funny. While I was in college, actually, I bounced, I bartended. I had my own bartending business. So I would do functions outside of the university and for the university as well. So I worked full-time, went to school full-time, played 2 sports and graduated on time. And then I have to listen to my daughter say, oh, I've got too much to do, Dad. I don't want to hear it. But after college, I was actually guided in the direction to sell capital equipment with a company called Davox, which is a Canon copier representative. So I sold copiers to businesses for the first few years to cut my teeth in sales.
I'm sure that was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. So when did you first get involved in franchising or even Hand and Stone?
Yeah, great question. I'll try to make this quick. My story was I was in medical sales for about 11 years. I sold surgical instruments to surgeons. I was in the operating room almost every day of my life for a long time. And then I decided to when the late 90s, 97, 98, 99, I'm watching this huge surge in technology and I'm thinking, I've got to be in technology. So long story short, within 6 months of when I made the decision, I was with Cisco Systems. And it was, first year I made a lot of money. And I thought, wow, this is my place. I will never leave this company. I had stock options and things were going great. Well, a year later, the crash happened. and myself and along with another 9,000 other really nice folks were basically given another career opportunity. So at that point, I could have gone back to medical, but I decided to take a shot into technology, or I'm sorry, into franchising. And
There's that boxing stuff happening again.
yeah, right, exactly. So anyway, a friend of mine was part of a franchise called Hollywood Tans, an indoor tanning salon business, and I joined Hollywood Tans, became the salesperson with Hollywood Tans. That's how I cut my teeth in the franchising business. My wife and I actually owned a number of Hollywood Tans ourselves, so we kind of repeated the process because it worked there, and then found myself about 7, 8 years later joining Hand and Stone.
So what year was that, roughly, Hand and Stone?
2000, January of 2010, I joined Hand and Stone.
Okay, and how many franchisees did they have when you started?
We had 28 locations. I believe we had about 25 or 26 franchisees.
Wow,
And today, we're getting close to the 500 mark right now. So there's not many franchises that do that in the industry, as you know.
Wow, so almost 500 locations opened or under development in what, 10 years?
Correct.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
And we have not closed one. This is our 4th year of not having closed a Hand and Stone business in the system.
You guys have had a pretty good success rate, haven't you? I mean, I know in your overall period of time with franchise system, I mean, you guys have been very successful franchisees.
So it's about a 98% success rate when you look at the total closings in the history of the franchise, which is amazing. And a couple of those were due to the recession back in 07, 08 timeframe, where a couple of the anchors went dark in the centers that these businesses were in. And because, real estate's a major pull for us, it hurt our businesses. So we did close a few locations back then, but we've only closed 1 or 2 in the last decade.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. What was one of the biggest challenges that you found as you developed this franchise system from 25 to 500? What are some of the biggest struggles you had or lessons you learned?
Yeah. So for us, if you were to kind of pinpoint a challenge in our industry, it has been, there's an upside to this though, actually, because what we're going through now. But the challenge has been massage therapists have gone, if you think about this, if you and I and Nat, in our generation, right? Think about growing up. Did you ever get a massage? No, right? I mean, my father was an 8th grade history teacher and a football coach. So there was no pampering for the McQuillan boys in our house growing up. Getting a massage was, I mean, we might as well just hit the lottery, for God's sakes. But today, and we all have kids. I mean, I have 2 daughters, and they've had probably God knows how many massages or facials in their lifetime, more so than I ever had by the time I was 40. And today, it's a routine event for people. So this is really, it's almost like having a gym membership anymore. When you just figure you're gonna get a massage or a facial every month. I mean, that's kind of what people do now. So the biggest challenge for us, because of the surge of opening businesses like Hand and Stone and our competitors, we've seen, obviously the massage therapist pool depleted. So we've had a tough time. That has been the one challenge. Is really this has to be kind of right. You're a Ford guy, right? This has to kind of be job one for an owner of the business, is making sure you're recruiting all the time. So that has been the challenge. Now, on the upside, Pete, I'll tell you that this pandemic, in a quirky way, is going to be a positive for us when we come out of it, because there's going to be a lot of these independent mom and pops, small kind of ancillary services that they produce in their business. Like if you're a hair salon or a nail salon, you might offer massage or facials, but you only probably have 1 or 2 employees that do that. This is going to offer a lot of opportunities for us on the therapist side for hiring, because I think they're going to want to be with a company like ours that mitigates the risk, a company that doesn't close businesses, a company that can guide them in the right direction, that has upward mobility. So in a weird way, this is going to be a positive for us when we come out of it.
So let's unpack that a little bit. So one of the things you said is that it's hard to find massage therapists. How do you guys separate yourself from the competition in a normal market? So we'll get into the pandemic here just a bit, but how do you separate yourself from helping them find, train, and most importantly, retain massage therapists?
Yeah. So one of the things we do, well, one, we have a national recruiting director and a team actually behind her that recruits nationally. So we put together. We are actually one of the only companies, if not the only company. I'm not sure if anyone else has done this, but we're an accredited, basically, institution where we can offer credits to learning credits, teaching credits, education credits to the therapist because they have to obviously keep up with standards and practices and protocols in the industry. So we're able to teach that. So that's one of the things that we separate ourselves from. One of the other things we separate ourselves from is we do not only massage, but we do facials, we do hair removal services. I know you've been a customer of ours, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've done a really nice job with you. But the from a massage standpoint, we work with all the schools across the country. We help them develop programs and protocol. We're an accredited institution, as I mentioned, offering education credits to the therapist. So there's a few ways that we set ourselves apart, amongst obviously being offering an opportunity with our franchise that can offer upward mobility. You could become a manager, you could become a lead therapist, which is kind of the quarterback of the therapist team. You can own a business. We've had managers that have grown through the ranks and then bought a franchise. So there's a lot of opportunities from an upward mobility standpoint that you just wouldn't have in a very small business or your own practice.
So you guys do an exceptional job helping them find and retain a good therapist. So what else separates you guys from, because there's a lot of people playing in the space, the massage space, right? So what else separates you guys from the other franchises out there today?
Well, one of the things is success. So if you look at and this is just not a term that I'm using loosely. If you look at what we've done in the 10 years that I've been here, we were not even a blip on the radar in the franchising industry, right? I mean, we weren't on Entrepreneur Magazine's Franchise 500. We were on no watch list whatsoever. Since that time, in January of 2010, that I started with the company, we've gone from not even a blip on the radar to the number one ranked franchise in America in our category. So we've gone from nothing to the number. We're ranked about 150th overall of the top franchises. We're the number one in our industry, and that's based on not only revenues. We've surpassed every cohort that's measured in this industry. Average earnings or average revenue after 12 months, after 24 months. We're now over $1.3 million on average revenue of a spa that's 24 months or older. So that beats everybody hands down in our category. So it's when I say success, not to mention the fact that here's a stat for you. This is unbelievable. I don't know that you'll find this in any industry. In the year 2018, now 2019 numbers, if you know franchising, are just coming out now because everyone has gone through their audit in the first quarter. In 2018, Hand and Stone opened 50 locations, did not close a single location. Our competitors, Massage Envy, if you net out openings and closings, closed 8. Massage Heights, I think, opened 5 or 6. Elements closed 7 or 8. And then Hand and Stone, no closings, opened 50. So how are we doing?
One a week. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's about what we're averaging for the last 3 or 4 years.
So one of the things you guys have clearly surpassed the competition. Is your product different or your services? What kind of has allowed you to, or is it marketing? What has allowed you to accelerate to surpass the competition or be the competitive leader?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think I would say all of the above. From a service standpoint, a lot of our competition, they offer massage and they might offer facials. Some of our competition only offers massage. We offer massage, facials, and the hair removal business, waxing as well. And not only that, we have 2 full comprehensive skincare lines. We use a Dermalogica, which is a globally known brand, as well as Clarity RX, which is more of a med spa type product. Our estheticians love working with both of them, and they're very reputable, and they carry weight when it comes to the female that wants to take care of her skin. A lot of males are doing so now as well. But when you look at the skill sets of the owners in our business, coupled with the fact of a more robust service offering, and then the fact that we have an in-house advertising agency. We actually own an ad agency and they only and exclusively work for Hand and Stone franchisees. It's called HSM. HSM is it's got about 23 full-time employees now. We have a social media department, a graphic design department. We have the head of the agency that helped LA Weight Loss grow from under 80 locations to over 800. There's a lot of expertise on the staff, and you won't find a business with that type of those types of tools in the toolbox to help you succeed in our industry.
That's awesome. Now, so clearly product, services, support separates you. Let's talk a little bit now. We're in the midst of the COVID-19 situation or pandemic,
Right.
whatever we want to call it.
Right.
And one of the things that I tell candidates when I'm working, Nat and I both do, is that when we're talking to candidates, we say this is a great time to validate a franchise, right? You get to validate the experience of the leadership team, most importantly, how they're helping them get the franchisees through these rough waters. So leadership, as well as what are they doing just overall economically? Are they doing some things to make it easier for the franchisees to get through these troubled waters? So tell us a little bit about what Hannah Stone is doing for those nearly 500 franchisees.
Sure. Well, yeah, and it's a great point. And the first thing that comes to my mind is obviously our franchise system. We have built this system on the backs of our franchisees because that's our focus. And we're very critical of the people we bring in to this organization. Both of the folks that you have that we've worked together with. They are skilled. They're sophisticated. They have a great sense of not only technology but the financial end of the business. They're multitaskers. They're organized. So that's the makeup of our system. So we took great care of bringing them on. Now our focus has to be we need to take great care of keeping them here. So what we've done is, one, we over communicate. Every week we have webinars and conference calls with our franchisees to talk to them about updates, what we're doing from not only internally, what we're doing from an operations perspective to gear up at the end of this, to come out of it, because that's really what we're prepping for, right? Right now, a lot of our franchisees are taking advantage of this time to better themselves and better their staffs. Because what you find in this type of situation, in this kind of pandemic that we're in, is the cream rises to the top. We're finding that people that really care about your business, they are going to do things unasked, right? You don't even have to ask them. They're going to do things in your organization that you would have never thought would have happened, and that's important. So what we're doing now from a company perspective for the franchisees, we're over communicating the task of here's what we're going to do to prepare for the outcome. But in the interim, we are attacking real estate. We're attacking finance on behalf of them. We're working with the landlords to get rent abatement. We're working with financial companies to get small loans and obviously the SBA. So on their behalf, we're working with all these organizations. And our management team, I have to tell you, I worked at Cisco, I worked at US Surgical, two of the best companies that you'll find. And our management team at Hand & Stone, I would put them up against anyone. Our CEO is absolutely phenomenal. And I'll tell you, what I've seen through all of this is that the owners that really kind of were challenged in this business, they're breathing a new life right now. There's this kind of groundswell of positivity in our franchise system. And they know that we care because we're helping them through all of this. And I'll tell you, there's a light at the end of this tunnel, and it's not a train. And we are so looking forward to it. And we see this as, we're going to come out of this. We were number one when we started. We're going to be number 1AA when we finish and get through this thing. So for those reasons, I'm very excited about what's going to happen on the other side of this.
Well, congratulations on showing great leadership and supporting the franchisees through these tough times. I got a email. I'm a member of a franchise, and one of the things they said is, "Hey, listen, you're a member. We promised we would suspend your payments or your monthly dues, but we'd like to see if you would be willing to still pay, and so that we can pay our therapists or in this case, it was the instructors." Are you guys doing things like that?
Now, when you say willing to what, stop payments from
No, so they offered to suspend my payments, but I decided to continue to pay my payments so they could pay their employees. So to kind of support them through the tough times.
Yeah. Now, clarify, Pete, is this from a royalty perspective or?
No, this is just an individual as a customer, a member of a
Okay.
franchise
Yeah. So believe it or not, Bob, Pete does have memberships at several gyms.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it. I know. Thank you. So,
Well, I know you do, Nat. I mean, that's obvious. You got the 2 tickets to the gun show there. I appreciate that. But okay, so now I'm clear. Now, unlike the fitness industry, they have to suspend payments because they can't offer their product or service on a monthly basis. In our business, if you don't use it, you don't lose it. If you pay your monthly membership fee, and absolutely, if anyone wants to suspend or what we call freeze their membership, we're happy to do so. In our environment, you pay your membership. It's used typically $59.95 a month. And if you don't use it, let's say in April, you'll have an additional service in the bank or credit in May. So for us, it's only been really, we're going in the second month now of this. It's only been a couple of months. If it continues, it might be a different story. We'll have more people. But quite frankly, it's less than 2% of the people right now are concerned and are suspending or freezing their accounts. But if they request it, absolutely, we will acquiesce and handle that for them.
That's nice that people get the credits. Nat, you might need some of these services here. You were just telling me about a piece of equipment, fitness equipment. Now you're going to get yourself hurt. You're going to probably need this when they all open up here.
Right.
I hope not. Yeah, I was always going to the gym, but now I can't go to the gym. So I have been buying some equipment for my house. So I bought one of those Airdyne bikes. You have the and the light. Yeah, so that's been kicking my butt. And then also I bought some adjustable barbells or dumbbells. So I've been doing some of that at home too.
That's
awesome. Yeah, I would love to get a massage at some point.
Anytime, you guys know that. Anytime at all.
Well, Bob, you're talking about your daughters have massages, and I think my daughter's a member of Hannah Stone. My wife is a member of Hannah Stone. I go there all the time from that standpoint. So we're big fans, and I think as we talk about massage used to be just something that you enjoyed, right? It was a want. And today it's more of, in my opinion, a need. We know that we have to stay flexible, limber, and I'm the world's worst. But this idea that we have to leverage this in our lifestyle. And I think doctors are even telling people in some cases to get massages. So it's really now part of our lifestyle.
It is. And actually over 70% of the HMOs and PPOs will reimburse for a massage with a doctor's script. So it is. It's commonplace. It's the number one reason for that people come to our businesses and get a massage is because of stress. So even the big concern with our investment used to be, how is this going to react in a down economy? And when my wife and I invested in this business, it was 2009. So it was the tail end of one of the worst recessions we've had in the history of this country. And what I learned from it is from 06 through 09, the company itself grew by 15% at a compound annual growth rate. So that to me was phenomenal. 15%, I'm thinking, wow, what will this business be like when we get out of this recession? And my father, who's, as I mentioned, he's still 88 today, kicking. He still drives. He works out. He lifts weights. He's on the treadmill all the time and never minces words. He said, Bobby, you've made some stupid decisions in your life. This is back when we invested in Hand and Stone. He said, this by far is the dumbest. He said, you're investing in a luxury business at the end of a recession. He said, what are you thinking? Well, it ended up being the best financial decision we've ever made. And I can't say enough about this business because it's almost like, alcohol, tobacco, lipstick, those things don't know a recession. You're going to continue to do those things in a recession or in great times. Same thing with massage and facials. I'll be darned. Our franchisees or prospective investors, they might not add the kitchen on or do an upgrade to the home or go on a cruise or vacation, but I'll be darned, they're not giving up that $50 or $60 a month for that 1 hour relaxation period in their life.
Yeah. I was at a Hannah Stone a few months ago. I had tweaked my neck. And so I decided to go get it released and stuff like that. So I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for my session. And it was so fun. One guy walks out of his session. He walks to the counter to pay, and he basically goes, honey, I don't think I can drive home. I'm intoxicated on the massage. I'm like, I want a little bit of that. I'll take whatever he had from that standpoint. And then sitting right across from me was this couple, and they were kind of a strange couple, but you could tell they weren't there for a group massage, but this was their deal. This was their special time to go kind of escape the world. You could just see it in their faces, the way they talked. And I think that's so cool. So, unfortunately, my kids are now starting to really like massages.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's a big expenditure.
All those college tuitions, and then you have the massage thing on top of it, right, Pete?
Yeah, that's college.
It's a great point though, because there's nothing funner than being in a business that helps people. Because our CEO, he's former transmission guy, so he was with Amco Transmissions, AA, beep beep, MCO. I'm sure you've heard of that. Being in Chicago, and he always says, no one buys a gift card to a transmission business, but with Hand and Stone, it's amazing that our business has been built on advertising for gift cards. It's the number one gift card industry in the world. And when you see what happens when people come in with their gift card, and like you said, a first time user of this, they just can't. I can't tell you how many people I've said, now, when's the last time you had a massage? I never had one. And then they go to a Hand and Stone and experience that Hand and Stone experience, like you just mentioned. And it is really a gratifying thing. And that's one of the things that I'll always be thankful of is, with our business, you come in, you leave feeling better than you did when you got there. So it's really neat from that perspective.
Yeah. So you and your wife owned, the best I can tell, 2 or 3 Hand and Stone franchises for 11 years?
Yeah. 10 years. We had three spas. Correct.
All right. So what is the craziest experience you had with maybe a member doing something crazy, or any kind of crazy stories associated with owning those that you can, let me clarify that you can tell us about?
Well, yeah, right. So there's a few over the years, but one comes to mind. We had, people don't realize that, everything you do these days is on camera, right? Certainly not in our rooms. There are no cameras in our rooms, but in the hallways, in our break room, in our lobby, there are cameras. And as you know, we sell product. Well, there was one person who had taken liberty with our product and kind of, put it in her purse. And we obviously noticed that there was product missing. We, obviously called her out on it. We made a phone call. We said, ma'am, it looks like you took some product without paying for it. We'd like you to bring the product in. And she's, of course, denied it. I said, well, we have you on videotape. If you'd like to come in and see it, we can show you, or we can have the police give you a call. No, I'll come in. So that has happened a couple of times, but because we have this such a great security system, we're able to kind of tackle that issue.
And all franchisees have those security systems?
Yeah, every business has the camera. It's a must-have. Absolutely.
Now, you guys are the most successful, right? Are you guys still looking for additional franchisees at this point?
Wow, absolutely. We mentioned we're getting close to 500 locations in North America. We have about 31 in Canada, has never closed a business in Canada. And then the balance of the locations are in the United States. Now, in the United States alone, we estimate approximately 1,500 locations. So we have about 430, 440 in the United States. So we've got another 1,000 locations that we can put in this country alone. So absolutely, we're looking for franchisees.
You got some work to do.
We do. Well, you guys have some work to do as well.
So you're talking about that made me think about what kind of help or assistance do you guys give for real estate to help these guys find locations and all that?
Yeah, that's a big topic right now, Nat, because we're finding now not only are existing franchisees taking advantage of this time, because a lot of the landlords out there are helping them and giving them rent abatement in the down period. But what we do is we have a real estate department. And because, I always say we have to do 2 things as a franchisor in this business on the front end to get this thing right. Because we know this service, this product, this concept works everywhere in North America. It doesn't matter if it's hot or if it's cold, if it's rainy, if it's dry. It doesn't matter. This business works. Everyone loves to get pampered. Everyone loves to get a massage or a facial. So what we have to get right is you, the actual franchisee, and then the real estate. So we've got to get the right location and the right franchisee to operate the business, and then we're golden. And real estate is just, it's almost half the battle. We have a real estate department, and we actually see every site on location. We're with the franchisee in the car, driving with the real estate, interviewing local businesses. We negotiate the real estate for them, the letter of intent, the work letter. We get them tenant improvement allowance from the landlord, which is basically a check back to them within 30 days of them opening their business. We negotiate all of that. And then we actually make comments on the lease as well. So there isn't anything we do, or there isn't anything we don't do in the real estate process leading up to them signing their lease.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, it is, because a lot of franchisors, and it just spells it out in the document, finding the real estate and negotiating the lease is on them. We just don't see it that way. We find it in every part of our business and support. We find the fact that we hold the franchisee's hand through the entire journey. We find that one of the most critical elements of what we do.
What are you guys, I know you're thinking about 1,500 locations, but what, like, kind of short term, maybe 2 to 3 year plan, what are you guys kind of seeing, or what are your goals?
As you guys know, we are not a franchise that likes to sell huge deals. We don't sell 10 unit, 15, 20 unit deals. We don't sell big area development deals where they can buy an entire state. We like the fact that we can do, single unit, 2 unit, or even a 3 unit deal with an individual to help them grow. Because a lot of times you don't know, especially with people that have not gotten into this business, you just don't know when they come in if they're going to love the business or not. So why, from our standpoint, we're very much focused on, their first location. That is our main goal. Get that first location right. So when you bring in a franchisee, our focus is to get them to break even as quickly as possible. We have a team that's focused on getting them to break even and as quickly as they can. And that's really the joy of franchising, is to have people make money. I mean,
right.
The only way we can make money is if they stay in business. So let's make sure they do. And that's kind of our focus and part of our major, I think one of the major reasons that we are number one in the industry, because we are kind of laser beam focused on that.
So is it a little bit of a mix of existing owners opening up more locations, but then also brand new owners coming into the system?
Yeah, great question. Great follow-up, because what has happened, because our focus has been on their first location, because if they don't succeed in their first, Nat, they're
right.
never going to open a second or a third or a fourth. Now we're comprised of almost 60% of our locations are multi-unit owners.
That's great.
And Pete can attest to this. Some people come in buying one. Just a few weeks ago, one of Pete's clients just bought their second location. They haven't even opened their first yet, but they bought their second location. And Pete now can pay for some more massages and facials for his kid.
Yeah, we call that good validation, right? When guys get into the system, they like it so much, they're like, well, I better buy more territory so I can, protect, kind of like playing Risk, right? They're kind of like, I need this territory. I need this territory.
Absolutely. Or in our case, no risk.
Right.
But it attests to that they didn't even open up their first location, and they were so impressed by your support in the organization that they're willing to step up and do another one. That's pretty good verification or validation for sure.
Thank you.
What do you look for in terms of new franchisees? So as you look to expand to 1,500, what kind of characteristics are you looking for in a candidate as a new Hannah Stone franchisee?
As it pertains to you guys, I mean, like Joe in North Carolina, Pete, and John in Michigan, Nat. I mean, those guys, they came from, Joe was in an IT background. John had his own basically advertising and promotions company. A lot of times we'll have people that have run their own business for, 15, 20 years and want a new challenge. Or in Joe's case, he had managed teams. He worked his way up. He had a great nest egg after 20 plus years of working in the same industry. Sometimes you kind of need a reset button, right? You need a new challenge. people develop great skill sets when they're working with companies. I mean, Pete, you work for Ford. I mean, your background is, it's phenomenal, right? So you see these people that have worked for great organizations. They've gone through training programs. They did great by their companies. They've developed a set of skill sets in their toolbox that are really basically have paved the way for them to operate a business. Those are the types of people owning their own businesses, leaders, manage teams, multitaskers, have a good sense of not only technology, but the financial end of the business. Those are the best people that we find kind of come on and tackle our business with no fear, and they just flourish. So those are the types. And a lot of times it's a mom and pop team, husband and wife typically, or sometimes a partnership that divide the tasks. One maybe focuses on operations and marketing, advertising. The other focuses on recruiting and the financial end of the business. So we see that a lot, whether it's husband, wife, or partnerships that also flourish.
Yeah. Do you guys, I know you use franchise consultants, right? People that help people find franchises. Nat and I with Hire Yourself, that's what we do. We help executives explore franchise opportunities. For you, when you have people come in, do you see a better success rate, or I guess it would be better candidates coming in through consultants opposed to, say, an organic lead, somebody just coming through your website?
Well, not to blow smoke, but with reference to the times I've worked with both of you, there is no doubt. I mean, it's not even close. When I get introduced to a client from a Pete Gelflin or a Nat Truitt, I know that they're serious. I know that they are looking at this business to invest in. This is a life decision for them. So absolutely, there's it's not even a layer. It's multiple layers of credibility when I get a referral from someone like you, Pete, or Nat, because you've done your homework, you've done your due diligence, you've vetted out this person or these people to make sure that when you send them to me, one, you hopefully and have confidence in the fact that I'm going to take great care of them, but more importantly, that you've done your job. And I can't say enough about what you guys do to help a company like Hand and Stone. You've basically been one of the major reasons of our success, and I don't, that's not lost in this conversation at all. I take that to heart, and I want to thank you guys for it. So absolutely, I would say a big yes to that question.
That's awesome. Now I owe you a bottle of wine or something for that, right? So, and I know you like wine. By the way, what is your favorite wine? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question. There's many, Pete, but I tend to really love the robust kind of heavy cabs that come out of California.
Right.
I mean, I like the Malbecs from Argentina. I like my Pinot Grigios from Italy. I like my Sauvignon Blancs from France. But there's nothing like a silky finish on a Cabernet from Southern California or Northern California that tickles my taste buds more.
Oh, that's awesome. Nat, do you have any more questions, Nat?
When you were talking a little bit earlier, I was thinking about kind of a trick question, but for people, like a lot of times people that would start working with us or working with me, they're like, oh, I really want to be passionate about what I'm doing. So I was wondering, like, from your experience, when you see people come in, you start working with people, or the people end up investing in Hand and Stone, would you say that they're passionate about massage, or kind of what's the hook? Like, why are they ultimately pulling that trigger and taking that leap of faith?
That is a great question, because I think there's two sides to that. One, I mean, a lot of people are, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's no tie from a success rate to this. We get a lot of people, believe it or not, that have been members of, I think, the most well-known brand in our industry, and really the folks that started this concept of membership massage-based concept was Massage Envy. And I can't tell you how many people that are now Hand and Stone franchisees that used to be members at Massage Envy. Because, I mean, Massage Envy did a great job. They have over 1,200 locations. I tip my hat to them. They're a great competitor. They basically they built this industry. But we get people that, they members at Massage Envy, can't get an appointment for 3 weeks. I'd like to own one of these. Well, they're sold out in their market. So the next phone call comes to Hand and Stone because you look at who's the next largest because you want a company that has a proven track record and a history of success. So we get a lot of that. So we get a lot of people that are passionate about massage and love it. And then we get the people that they just don't care because they believe in the business model. Some people that have never had a massage before have become the best business owners because their only focus is bottom line, right? So they understand that you do this business right and follow this model, you will succeed, and there is a huge benefit and a huge pot at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. So you get those people too. So it doesn't matter, but we get both types. I would say more people are massage enthusiasts than not.
Yeah, I think the whole American population is more into health and fitness and wellness and kind of those affordable luxuries and all that. And I think it makes sense. A lot of people it resonates with. And then the monthly membership from a business owner perspective, and even what we're going through with COVID, you guys are still auto drafting people, and there's now in May or June or July, I can get 3 massages, so how great is that?
Yeah, right. It's it's going to be pretty awesome when people start, believing again and coming back, and okay to shake a hand or give a fist bump. It's
right.
Not wear a mask. We're so looking forward to that, and I hope I believe our customers will be as well. Our guests of Hand and Stone will be excited about that fact.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, congratulations on all your success with Hand and Stone. It's amazing what you've done, what you've built, and more importantly, the success of your franchisees. So congratulations on that. We thank you so much for sharing time with us today. I'd love to, after this, go get a massage and try it out, but it appears I'm going to be locked down here for a few more weeks. But thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I mean, you could be in the emergency room with your wife again, but you're here with us. So thank you.
All right, guys. Pete, Nat, thanks so much for your friendship, and working with you guys has been an absolute joy. I look forward to the years to come where we can continue to do that. And God bless you guys, your families, and hope everybody's safe. And we'll look forward to talking to you very soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Hire Yourself podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, give us a rating, and leave a comment on iTunes or wherever you're listening to our podcast. Hire Yourself offers some great resources on our website at hireyourself.com. And if you would like more content regularly, follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook. We look forward to you listening again to help you on your journey of living life on your own terms.